Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening.
The world lost a true titan of music when it was announced that neo-soul icon Michael D'Angelo Archer had lost his life after a prolonged battle with pancreatic cancer. D'Angelo blessed the world with culture-moving bodies of work, Brown Sugar, Voodoo, and Black Messiah, each project distinct in its sound, but all reveling deeply in Black music progression, reinvention, and revolution. D'Angelo's influence is embedded in everyone from Erykah Badu and Jill Scott and Jay Dilla to Anderson .Paak and Frank Ocean and Steve Lacy. And while he was undoubtedly pivotal in establishing the neo-soul subgenre, like true mavens tend to do, he wasn't one to latch on to labels. He said this in a conversation with Questlove over a decade ago at the Brooklyn Museum. He said, "I don't want to disassociate, and I respect it for what it is, but anytime you put a name on something, you put it in a box. I never claimed I do neo-soul. When I first came out, I said, I do Black music." He reiterated that sentiment in an Interview Mag conversation in 2013. "I'm making Black music. That's the only outline for me, really. That's the only boundary to stay with. It's soul music. I'm going all out in those terms." Testimonials from fans and celebrities alike flooded social media in the days following the announcement of his passing. President Barack Obama said D'Angelo was one of a kind. As a pioneer in neo-soul, he inspired a generation of singers and helped shape music today. Michelle and I are thinking of his family and all those who loved and admired him. Jazz impresario Terrace Martin said this about D'Angelo's resistance-minded 2014 album Black Messiah and how it was influential on Kendrick Lamar's 2015 magnum opus. "That album was one of my biggest inspirations when I was producing on To Pimp a Butterfly. Black Messiah was the newest, freshest thing. We were fans, and yet it felt like we were a part of it. We wanted to coincide with D'Angelo's energy." Perhaps the most personal and heartfelt tributes came from Tyler, the Creator. On IG, he posted, "On my 9th birthday, March 6, 2000, I landed at Sam Goody at the South Bay Galleria. I had $20 in my birthday money and my eyes set on leaving with one thing, Voodoo by D'Angelo. Cedar's World had Left and Right on loop. Brown Sugar became a staple at my home, and Nothing Even Matters by Miss Hill was on repeat. So I had no doubt that Voodoo would deliver. I had no idea that would help shape my musical DNA. The amount of raps I've wrote to Booty on the front porch that year, the amount of times I've tried to mimic vocal phrasing from Send It On, the scratches the disc ended up with from repeating the root, too many. One Mo' Gin still puts me in the same trance as it did when I first heard it. That dragging sway of tempo that sounds like a porch-sitting rocking chair, that grumpy but loose bass line, the subject of it, that feeling he's describing felt like a mirror. I took that and wrote ring, 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 hence that One Mo' Gin line. I couldn't understand how someone could write something so simple, but personal, but broad, but genius. That's how special he was, a savant, a true alien. I am so lucky to have gotten my copy of Voodoo when I did. We are so lucky to have been alive to enjoy his art. My musical DNA was helped shape by this man. Forever grateful. Safe travels." I like that. Check this out. I couldn't understand how someone could write something so simple, but personal, but broad, but genius. That's how special he was. A savant, a true alien. I mean, that's such an apropos summation of D'Angelo's impact. Simple, personal, broad, genius. It's a beautiful tribute, really, and captures the significance that D'Angelo had on a 9-year-old Tyler, the Creator. To Tyler and to millions worldwide, D'Angelo was foundational. But over on the raging hellscape formerly known as Twitter, Tyler's memorial was culturally lost in translation. Tyler simply posted an image of D'Angelo, but many of his fans at best didn't understand the context and at worst outright disrespected the Black music icon. Here's how Grok summarized the spiral. One guy was like, "Who the F is this guy? Random ass post." Another, "Is this Tyler's dad or something? Check this one. Tyler posting his barber. Also, he looks like he smells like incense and bad decisions." It gets worse. "Why Tyler posting old heads now? Stick to rap." Last one, "This is why I skipped the interludes on Igor." Comments like these went as viral as a Nicki Minaj crash out, amassing thousands of likes and replies, hijacking Tyler's tribute to one of our icons. Tyler gave an extremely Tyler response though, calling out his fans in hilarious fashion. He said, and I quote, "These Sun Dodgers are out of control, man." Now that tweet was quickly deleted, but Tyler also liked a post criticizing a toxic segment of his audience. Here's what the post said. Tyler's fan base hates Black music despite Tyler himself having a very deep love and appreciation for it. Nigga has Charlie Wilson, Erykah Badu, DJ Drama, etc. collaborations, and they still refuse to engage with black art in any meaningful way. Very cannibalistic. And that's really where this snowball turned into an avalanche, because on one hand, Tyler's recent run of incredible releases that bask in black music is a stark detour from the audience and energy he cultivated back in his super edgelord early years. Flower Boy, Igor, Call Me If You Get Lost, Chromacopia, Don't Tap the Glass display a matured artist who took Pharrell's advice and focused on making music that can buy you a house. But those early releases, Goblin, Bastard, Wolf, to a degree Cherry Bomb, were more reminiscent of raucous punk rap, more focused on shock value than mass appeal. And in that era, even away from the music, Tyler farmed an arguably manosphere-adjacent audience, ignorant or disinterested in black musical traditions, who fiend for Tyler's willingness to seemingly say and do anything on any platform. So when fans and critics of Tyler's origin story caught wind of Tyler disrespecting his toxic fans for disrespecting D'Angelo, they started dropping old tweets like Gravity Had a Grudge. Tweets like this one where Tyler's celebrating how he made a room full of white people chant the N-word. Or this one here where he's deriding people protesting in the aftermath of Mike Brown's murder by cop. Or like this one here of him selling Sambo merchandise to his quote-unquote sun-dodging fans. Or this one of him wearing Klan robes.
White power.
The rabbit hole is deep. I can go further, I promise, but honestly, a lot of this is old news. If you've been following Tyler, you know he's talked about his transition from edgelord to burgeoning icon with his audience over the years. He's chronicled his late maturation on stage directly to his fans, for example.
Like, I've been famous since I was like 18, 19. Kind of been on my own since 16, so like, I developed different.
He's called out Ian for mocking Future and Gucci Mane.
This white kid, regular like Caucasian man. And then something about it like don't even sit well with me in comparison to someone like a Mac Miller or Eminem, who it didn't seem like they was mocking it.
His verse on Manifesto off Call Me If You Get Lost is a powerful lyrical example. It's a verse that addresses his own internal issues with his identity and attempts to bridge gaps between different ciphers of blackness. Here's how he starts it. I came a long way from my past, nigga, it's obvious. Internet bringing up old lyrics like I hide the shit. What's your address? I could probably send you a copy, bitch. I was canceled before cancel was with Twitter fingers. Protesting outside my shows, I gave him the middle finger. In the middle, he says, black bodies hanging from trees, I cannot make sense of this. Hit some protests and retweeted positive messages. Donated some funds, then I went and copped me a necklace. I'm probably to your standards based on this evidence. Am I doing enough or not doing enough? I'm trying to run with the baton, but see my shoes in the mud. I feel like anything I say, dog, I'm screwing it up. So I just tell these black babies they should do what they want. Then he closes with, I might not have dreadlocks, I might have these gold teeth, but I'm like you and using like me. So let's be together and let's be with plans. But put this plastic on first, cause shit is hitting the fan.
He's beginning to believe.
So none of this is new for Tyler, but that doesn't make any of his past actions easier to accept for people who might be new to him or his music. Thousands of people are just finding out about these things, so it's fresh for them. And there's always gonna be something slimy about people monetizing off anti-blackness while selling black art. We've talked about how Drake's been yoking with the Nelk Boys and Happy Dad, whose manosphere platform was pivotal in the outcome of the last election. He's also out here rocking with and supporting racist biker gang, the Hells Angels. Tyler's idol Ye was selling Confederate flag merchandise around the same time Tyler was selling Sambo shirts to his fans. I see the lineage. And now Ye's gone full Heil Hitler. Anthony Fantano, the internet's busiest music nerd. He was rightfully called out again this year for previous abhorrent anti-black online behavior that happened over a decade ago. He apologized then and he apologized again this year. We're watching it right now in real time with the streamer Neon. The former Kick streamer broke big by saying the most vile things about black people imaginable. Here's a few of his greatest hits.
Stupid whore, dumbass black monkey tree, suck my dick. I fucking hate you black people, bro. You, Kai. Fuck me, I don't want to sign, bitch. The fuck? I will fuck your mom, bitch. I will fuck the shit out of that fat Harry Tubman, bitch. Fuck you. Suck my dick.
Now, I don't use phrases like nasty work, but that right there is nasty work. I mean, even Harriet Tubman found her way in Neon's crosshairs, okay? But Neon, he's in the midst of a rebrand. In a super viral Breakfast Club interview, Neon attempted to wash off his resume by claiming he was just a kid. He was 19 at the time and he's 21 now, so do what thou wilt with that. But he confessed he's never been through anything real in life. He told a story about how his actions got his manager beat up. He also said that he's learned from his mistakes and he's turning over a new leaf. And while he's in the middle of explaining all of this to the Breakfast Club, while he's live on air explaining to the Breakfast Club and their audience, that mostly black audience, that he is a vastly different person than he was a year ago. While he was doing that, his chat was spamming racist posts about the Breakfast Club, calling them
the Monkey Club.
It was a real-time example of the fact that whether or not Neon has actually changed, his audience clearly hasn't. The irony though, is that though Neon isn't black,
My entire team's black.
so a team of black people are working together to clean up this kid's reputation so that he can pivot and sell black art to the mainstream. And it worked, because since that interview, he's announced that he is releasing a project with Hit Boy. It's hard to tell the difference between growth and a strategic pivot when it comes to the internet. People say whatever they need to say and yoke with whoever they need to yoke with to get on. Then after they get paid, they want an invite to the cookout. That's not the case for everyone, but it's a case common enough for people to be skeptical because the pattern is as consistent as a Steph Curry free throw. Are you genuine, or are you genuinely trying to gain market share? But during this cancel Tyler the Creator news cycle, the good homies over at Thought Crimes raised a powerful question about the proliferation of anti-blackness in rap. They said, is it weird that the bare minimum is too hard for rap music? The bare minimum is too hard for rap music. The fact that it is difficult for rappers to not wear Ku Klux Klan hoodies, robes, Nazi chains, and that their edgelord behavior always is anti-black at the expense of the black community is crazy. We are gaslit as a community to accept these things for the past 15 years in rap music, and many sweep it under the rug because their rap industry war is more important than the psychological health and well-being of the black community. And they right. Thought Crimes is absolutely correct. And that won't stop until we stop allowing it. The point is this: the irony that this conversation ignited in the spirit of D'Angelo isn't lost on me. In every sense, he was a maven, a protector of blackness and black music who espoused the living tradition of black art while defining integrity over accessibility. His 2014 album, Black Messiah, was released during the Ferguson uprisings unintentionally, for example, and will stand as an urgent call for black resistance and self-reflection, using groove as a weapon and prayer. In that same time period, in that era, you have a new era of online edgelords rising to prominence, strapped with a bastardized understanding of the First Amendment and unshackled by a fear of getting punched in the face, capitalizing off of dehumanizing rhetoric. Some of those people might have evolved, but the consequences remain, because now we're in an era where people are being abducted and black history is being banned and women have lost legislative control over their bodies, and cities are literally under siege by troops from other states within the Union. And that's the real problem with wearing certain jackets, certain Klan robes, certain puerile art styles, or even art in general. Once you put it out there, it's no longer yours. The internet is forever, and in that sense, we're all forever represented by what we choose to put into the world. I think Tyler's been working consistently to evolve past his past. I give him credit for that, and I actually think he's doing a pretty good job. And I look forward to how he continues to show and prove. But I'm also not mad at anyone who decides that that work isn't good enough for them, because I believe anti-blackness should be expensive, very expensive, costly. Especially now, because we're living in a time where we can see the tangible social and legislative consequences that have been implemented, at least partly through the galvanization of very similar dehumanizing platforms, rhetoric, and ideas. There will always be people willing to sell out their neighbor's humanity for profit and power. But just because someone has grown past their anti-black past, does that mean that black people, the population of people who are exclusively told all the time to get over every injustice ever done to us, does that mean that black people have to move past it too? I don't have the answer to these questions.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening.
I have a basic level of respect that I accord to everybody. You know what I mean? I want to say what I have to say. I don't want to shrink back from it. At the same time, I recognize that part of my audience, and I would say an important part of my audience, is people who have never enjoyed that respect. And I'm all for unifying, I'm all for bridging gaps, but not at the expense of my neighbor's humanity. I just can't.
The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping in. Systematical culture views that's radical. It's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, dog. You don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.